Hi, my name is Kim Newcomb, and today I would like to talk to you about a couple fundamental building blocks for healthy and efficient singing, and then also give you a couple exercises to help with some specific challenges that we have as singers just in general. So let's dive right in. If you are not standing already, now is the time to do so. I would love for you to walk through all of this stuff with me. So I want you to think about your feet having 4 points, two beneath each, not each, but two beneath the balls of your feet and two beneath the heels of your feet. There are 4 points that we want to focus on when we're speaking of alignment: your ankles, hips, shoulders, and ears. So we want the weight to be equally distributed between those 4 points for a specific reason. Go ahead and put all of the weight on the balls of your feet. So you're leaning forward. Now try and take a deep breath. And relax. Okay, now stand with the weight equally distributed between those 4 points and try to take a nice deep breath. Okay, good. Now I want you to lean back on the heels of your feet and try to take a deep breath without falling over. You can relax and come back to center. What you should have felt is that it was a lot harder to take a deep, relaxed breath when you were leaning too far forward or too far back. And alignment and breathing kind of go hand in hand, but I'll tell you why in a little bit, why it's important for you to be able to take a nice low breath. But for now, just know that it's important. So you have your ankles established while you've distributed the weight equally over those 4 points. As we go up the body, think about having your knees be nice and buoyant. They aren't necessarily a point of alignment, but more so just a be careful and don't pass out. We want to make sure that those knees aren't locked. As you ascend, we come up to the hips. Your hips are a bowl-shaped bone, and I want you to imagine your favorite kind of cereal or any liquid thing, cereal and milk, in this bowl that you don't want to drop. We want to make sure that it stays in this nice neutral position. Now, play with me. Since we don't have real cereal, we have imaginary cereal. I want you to tilt that bowl and have your hips mimic this motion. When your hips are tilted too far forward, this is the position we get. Your butt's kind of sticking out. It might be like, yeah, I'm leaning forward on a walker or on, with a cane or something, which is not in and of itself bad, but in this discussion of alignment, we would like for your hips not to be in this position. Now, do the opposite of that and roll your hips back as if your cereal were to fall out of the back of the bowl, and you get this position, I'm just chilling, I'm just hanging out. And again, it's not good for alignment because one way or the other, your hips are going to be in front of or behind your ankles, and we don't want that. So try and experiment with either too far forward and too far back where this position feels most neutral to you. So we've got ankles, we got nice buoyant knees, and then we have a neutral set of hip bones. Not bones, but your hips should be neutral. As you go up, your shoulders are the next point that we want to think about. Now, these can be too far forward or too far back for a couple reasons. Too far forward happens when maybe we're nervous, leaning like this, trying to protect these very essential organs, but you're safe now. It used to be that there were lions and tigers and bears that we had to be worried about, but you're safe. You don't have to worry about that here. And the opposite of too far forward, protecting ourselves a little bit scared and nervous, is too far back. And this happens when someone says, okay, we're getting ready to sing, now perform. And then suddenly your shoulders are behind your ankles and your hips. So we need a happy medium. It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's gotta be somewhere in the middle. And then as you ascend up, the next point to think about is your ears. Now, these are probably in front of those other 3 points at a normal resting position because we're so used to leaning forward and looking at our phones, or leaning forward and typing on our computers because we sit at a desk all day, or whatever the reason is. But you're probably used to having your head be not in alignment. So we want to think about having our ears over our shoulders, and I have a couple tools to help you find that place. The first one is take your hand, put it on your opposite shoulder, and let it rest. This is just a place for this arm to rest on top of. Now make an L with your hand and put it on your chin. So we don't want under the chin or over the mouth. We want it to be right under your lips but on your chin, and then you rest this arm on this arm. And this will encourage your head to be more so over your shoulders instead of out here. That's one way to try that. The other way is to take whatever hand you want, make this sign, put your pinky on your sternum and your thumb on your chin. This does the same thing, probably feels a little restrictive if your head is used to being a little too far forward, but it gets the same effect. So now forget about everything I said, wiggle your body a little bit, and then just go to like a chill position. Not a at attention, I'm ready to sing position, but a this is where my body would probably naturally go if I wasn't thinking about it. And I want you to go, woo! Okay, now think about all the things we said. Equally distribute your weight. Ankles, buoyant knees, neutral hips, relaxed shoulders, happy medium, Goldilocks. And then pick your favorite, either this one or this one. And I want you to go, woo! Nice. Hopefully you felt a difference. If you didn't, you might just need some more individualized attention and you can reach out to me and I'll help you out. But the point is that if you are thinking about those 4 points, you're really gonna set up your body for success, your instrument for success. Now, let's talk about breathing. Take one hand, put it on your throat, and swallow. Go ahead and do it again, and pay attention to what you feel moving here. What you should feel is something move up and down. This is your larynx or your voice box. Your larynx is where your vocal cords are housed. They are parallel to the ground. They connect in the front of your neck and open and close in the back of your neck. So when they open, that allows air to go through. When they close and air is going through, they vibrate, and that's how we make sound. So whether you're speaking or you're singing, that's how we phonate. Now, the reason that I had you touch this is so that you could feel what happens when you take a nice low breath. So put your hand back up here, take your other hand, put your thumb on your belly button and let it drop. Now take a deep breath into this bottom hand. And out. Go ahead and do it again and see what you feel move up here. Take a deep breath. Good. What you should have felt is that your larynx descended. The reason that happens is because of something called tracheal pull. So your larynx sits on top of your trachea, which is your windpipe, how we get air from outside to our lungs. At the bottom of your trachea is your lungs. When lungs expand, the diaphragm contracts and moves all of your organs out of the way. So when you take a nice low breath, it relaxes your larynx, it descends. So if we can get in the habit of creating these moments of release in songs when we're singing, it's going to be really helpful in alleviating tension in your vocal mechanism, which I'm all about because we want healthy and efficient singing. So it's important to take a low breath, a nice relaxed breath, in addition to also taking a quiet breath. So I'm gonna sit, you can stay standing, but if you sit at home while you're watching this, make sure from your hips up, you still have that awesome alignment we were talking about. So the second thing about breathing is that, besides we wanna take a low breath, is we wanna take a quiet breath. And the reason that is important is because if you hear the breath, that's a sign of tension in your vocal cords. It means that you can hear the air rushing past your vocal cords. And we want those to get out of the way so that you can take a nice quiet breath. Get out of the way, relax, release that tension so that you can create this habit of relaxed and easy singing. So now I want to give you a few exercises to help with some common challenges, vocal challenges we all have, and the biggest one is tension. If you feel tension in your voice, if you're finding it, if you have vocal fatigue after singing for a short period of time, besides just doing it more often, which I would encourage doing this exercise every day because it's really hard to hurt yourself. It's great for showing you your full potential, especially within your upper range, and it's just my favorite. It's kind of fun. So it's a lip trill, or I like to call it a bubble. And the reason that it helps with all the things I just listed off is because in order to bubble, you have to release all this tension. There are muscles that are holding your larynx in place. It's kind of like your kneecap. If you've ever played with your kneecap as a kid and you move it around, your larynx does the same thing. It's just floating around in a bunch of muscle. So it's really important that we sing without tension. So when you bubble, if you have any tension in these muscles up here, it's gonna be hard to do. Like if I laugh or if I smile, it's hard to leave your lips relaxed. So the exercise itself is just sliding back and forth between 1 and 5 or do and so, and then going up. I'm going to take you up to the tippy top of your range because that's what bubbling is great for showing off. So it goes, try it with me. Up to the very, very highest notes that you can possibly sing because you're singing in a really, really relaxed way. So bubble every day. It's the best thing you could possibly do. The next exercise I'm going to recommend is using an E vowel because an E vowel encourages vocal fold closure. So this exercise sounds like this. D, 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 D. You could really do it on any pattern of notes that you want to do. I just picked that one because it's easy. And it's going to help you get rid of the air in the sound. If you've been told that you have an airy sound like or if you have a hard time making it to the ends of phrases, it could be because you don't have enough vocal fold closure. Not that you don't have enough air, just you don't have enough closure. So try that one with me just a couple of times. Ready? Here we go. D, 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 D. Vowel encourages vocal fold closure. So if you're having a hard time making sure you can get the air out of your sound, play with that. The last thing I want to talk about is transitioning the passaggio, that place where your voice changes from chest voice to head voice and vice versa. I think the best way to strengthen that transition is to bring your head voice down lower than you normally would do and bring your chest voice up higher than you would normally do within the context of healthy singing, obviously. If anything ever hurts, stop. That means that you need to do it in a different way. So I like to use the oo vowel to descend through my passaggio and the ah vowel to ascend through the passaggio. So it would look something like this. Try it with me. Avoid the feeling of creating a mixed voice. I want you to try and stay in your head voice for as long as you can. And if it just naturally happens, then you found the place where you must sing in your chest voice, but try it a little bit more with me. It's probably about the bottom of mine. And then the opposite of that would be bringing up your chest voice. Just going da 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 da. Try it with me. Da 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 da. As you keep going higher, we're going to be sort of playing with belting, which I like to think of as if you're trying to get the attention of someone from across the room in a really healthy way, you would say, "Hey! Help! Over there! Hey!" It's kind of like you're shouting, but in a healthy way. So think about that as you get a little bit higher. Ready? Here we go. Da 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 da. 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 So on and so forth. It is kind of like healthy shouting, but once you start to feel too much tension, you should definitely stop and ask your voice teacher about that and how to help you do it in a safe and healthy manner. But the more you can experiment with what it feels like to bring your head voice down and bring your chest voice up, we can work on smoothing out that transition. So I hope this was really helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via social media. I have a Facebook page called New Voice Studio. I also have a a website called newvoice.studio. There's no .com, but it's fine. I'm so happy to answer any questions you might have about vocal technique and stuff like that. It's what I'm passionate about, so feel free to reach out. Happy singing!
Hey everyone, Jen Cooke here, and today I'm going to talk to you about 2 things that can really help us have more open, free, and healthy resonation when we are singing. The first thing we're going to talk about are semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, or SovT exercises, and we're also going to talk about tongue position and how that affects our voices. We're going to start with semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, or SovT exercises. I have loved these exercises. They not only help my voice work the way it should, but they also really help me get through my break, through my passaggio. They help me sing lower and higher in my range than I think I can. It really just makes sure that your voice is working the way it should. So let's look at semi-occluded vocal tract exercises and why they work. So if you look, before we vocalize, pressure builds up beneath our vocal folds, or subglottally, and it requires more muscle work to create sound. That's just the way it works. But if we can create a semi-occlusion, or a narrowing above the vocal folds, supraglottally, which is just really fun to say, we can achieve a back pressure that equalizes the pressure below and above our vocal folds and allows our vocal folds to adduct the way they should more completely with less tension. We're basically making the air work for us. So let's talk about the different ways we can exercise our voices through SovT exercises. As you look at this list of the SovT exercises, more than likely you recognize and have done one or more of these in your barbershop career. For instance, lip trills, bubbling or buzzing. I think the first day I joined Sweet Adelines, the chorus I joined they were doing bubbling and buzzing, and I've been doing it ever since. Great way to get those vocal folds adducting. You can use tongue trills, rolling R, which I cannot roll my R's, but I know many of you can. You can sing through voiced fricatives, that is V, Z, a voiced TH, V, or J. You can use a straw in water and phonate through that. You can use a straw out of water and sing or phonate through that straw. You can use cup phonation, which is basically taking usually a plastic cup, poking a hole in the bottom of it, and singing by putting the wide part of the cup over your mouth. And the small hole at the bottom of the cup provides that semi-occlusion. And the same thing with funnel phonation. I came across this as I was researching on YouTube, and my friend Jordan Travis did a great explanation of funnel phonation. And of course that naturally works because it's wider at one end and it has a semi-occlusion. You can sing through the funnel, and that provides the semi-occlusion for you. There are many resources out there if you want to further look at semi-occluded vocal tract exercises and the science behind them. Now, I've listed 3 of my favorite resources. First, of course, being Kathleen Hansen, who is amazing. She has a wonderful educational series on YouTube, and she does address these exercises and why they work. It's a great thing to watch. As I said before, my friend Jordan Travis has a great video on using funnel phonation for your semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. So you should check that out. I really enjoyed that. And then Jamie Claire Archer has a couple of videos. One just explains the science behind SovT exercises. And then the other one has a list of different exercises that you can do and the correct way to perform those exercises. It's a really valuable resource, and I would definitely recommend watching that so you can understand these exercises even more. But of course, the best way we can learn about these exercises is by doing them. Now, I'm just going to go through one example of SovT exercises, and we're going to use the voiced fricative for this one. Keeping in mind that there are a lot of different ways to do these exercises, They're very good for the voice. I always start out my personal vocal warm-up with SovT exercises because I want everything to be working the way it should. But also, anytime I begin to feel that buildup of pressure subglottally again, or if I'm getting to a passage in a song where I'm struggling vocally, I will go right back to that voice fricative. I will sing through a V for a while, and everything starts to work really well again when I do that. So don't feel that these exercises need to happen just at the beginning of your time to warm up. You can use them anytime to make sure your vocal folds are adducting correctly and that your voice is working at its best possible capacity. So let's try it ourselves. That's the best way to do it, right? We're going to do a very, very simple up and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 exercise. We're going to try it without doing the semi-occlusion and then doing the semi-occlusion and seeing the difference that it makes in our voices, okay? So what we're going to do is just sing a V, 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 V. I'm singing V, E, E, V, and then I'm going to be using the voice fricative V as we go into the SovT exercise. Now again, V is the voice fricative that works the best for me. You may have one that works better for you, and that is wonderful. Feel free to use that or try different voice fricatives and see which one is your favorite. It's always good to know what your favorite voice fricative is, just in case you're ever asked that question at a party or something. So it's just good to know. I will be using V. But let's go through the exercise just without the semi-occlusion first. Just a couple of times you can sing along with me. V, 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 V. One more time. V, 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 V. Now I'm already pretty warmed up, but I can still feel that subglottal pressure happening. And the interesting thing is, of course, the more you become aware of the subglottal pressure, the more you can feel it happening at different times when you're singing. So I'm going to add the semi-occlusion, and I encourage you to do this with me. So I'm going to put plenty of air and voice behind the voice fricative because, again, I want to create that back pressure that equalizes supraglottally and subglottally. If I do it half-heartedly, I'm not going to create the back pressure that I need. So I'm really going to sing through that V before I go into the exercise, and it's going to sound like this. See, already I can feel the pressure lifting. I can feel my vocal folds are really working the way they should. It's a great feeling. So I invite you to try it with me. Again, you don't have to use the V. Use whatever works for you. Let's do it a couple times and just see how it feels. Great. I love it. Let's do it one more time. Here we go. So remember, these exercises can be used at any time. Use them often and use them well to make sure that everything is working exactly the way it should. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about tongue position. Now, I will freely admit, having sung most of my life, I gave very little thought about what my tongue was doing in my mouth. It was there, it was doing stuff, I really didn't think about it. But you know, as we look at this cross section of the head, you can see that the tongue takes up a really ginormous amount of room in our mouths. It really is a big presence in the way we sing, and tongue position affects our tonal center, our breath management, our resonance. It just figures into a lot of things. So let's talk about a tongue position that is ideal for free, open, healthy, resonant singing. I find that using the E position for my tongue really helps get it in a place that is ideal for singing. When I say or sing E, The sides of my tongue are up, touching my upper molars, and the front of my tongue is forward, touching the back of my front bottom teeth. Now, what this does for the tongue is it keeps it from being pulled back and rolled away. It keeps it from muffling the sound, or it keeps the back of the tongue from being too low and too pulled back. It also allows the back of the tongue to stand high and free from the throat, and it's ready for any movement, pretty much. The wonderful coach and vocalist Sandy Marin has referred to this as the Pringles position, which I love and talk about a lot, because your tongue really does look like a Pringles chip when you're doing this correctly. The sides are up, the front is down and in front, and it just looks like you have a Pringles chip in your mouth. It's wonderful. It's also a lot of times the resting position for my tongue. So it's a very natural place and a relaxed place for my tongue to be when I'm singing as well. Another great way to think about tongue position is to be aware of your tongue when you are speaking. Many times when you are speaking, your tongue is more forward in your mouth. It's out of the way of the back of your throat, and it allows you to resonate and speak in a really healthy, free place without micromanaging everything that's happening in the back of your throat. So you can think of your tongue like a Pringles chip. You can speak a phrase from a song and really pay attention to what your tongue is doing while you're speaking, and try to mimic that while you're singing. So as always, let's practice a little bit. We're going to sing the first part of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The first time we sing it, we're really going to do a lot with our jaw and our tongue. Our tongue may be pulled back at times. We're just going to kind of be micromanaging everything that goes on here. And then the second time we sing, we're going to sing more in the speaking space with our tongue forward and out of the way. And we'll just see if it makes a difference in our resonation and our delivery of the song. So here we go, first time through. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. So I had the back of my tongue down and back quite a bit on that, and you can hear it not only affected my resonation, it affected my tonal center. I could hear that as well. So this time we're going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it's going to be more in a speaking space. It's going to be more with our tongue forward. We're not going to be moving our jaw around nearly so much. It's going to be a lot more like we speak. Let's try it. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. You can hear that it sounds much freer and easier as I sing that, and also I have to say it feels much easier, it feels more natural, and it resonates in a much just happier place, I guess is what I want to say. So I encourage you to try that at home. Really think about what's going on with your tongue and your jaw when you're speaking, and try to emulate that more when you sing. As always, it's a pleasure to spend time with you. I hope thinking about the semi-occluded vocal tract exercises and the position of your tongue when you sing will really help you get to a place that is easier, that is freer, that is more open and resonant, and that makes you sound totally like you.
Hi, I'm Kim Wonders, Director of the Metro Nashville Chorus in Nashville, Tennessee, Region 4. I'd like to talk to you today about the importance of interval singing in barbershop music. In our art form, it is of the utmost importance that we sing in tune with one another and maintain the integrity of the tonal center. Tuning and maintaining pitch begin with the development of good vocal skills. Good vocal skills are a result of mastering the elements of posture, breathing, phonation, resonation, and articulation. But this is just the beginning. Excellent tuning requires the development of ear training and pitch perception. One of the ways I believe we can improve our ear training and pitch perception is by singing accurate intervals. This can be developed by singing interval exercises on a regular basis in your weekly rehearsals. I'd like to share with you some interval exercises that I think will help you and your singers improve your ear training and pitch perception. I think you should start with singing a scale with your singers in unison. You can start on any key. I'd like to start on C, but have them sing the scale tones on an ascending scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They repeat 8 and then descend 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After they've done that, you can listen and see if they are maintaining the tonal center or the key when they ascend, when they get to 8, and when they descend from 8 to 1. Are they maintaining that key? Once you've done this a few times, it allows them to hear the intervals, what they're supposed to sound like. Then you can do some chord building. You would start on 1, everybody singing again on unison, but this time the basses would stay on 1, the baritones would stay on 3, the leads would stay on 5, and the tenors would go to 8. They have sung a major 1 chord. And when they hear that, I think it will help them understand how their notes fit in with the chord. Then you go back to 1 again, have the basses stay on 1 again, have the baritone stay on 4, have the lead stay on 6, and the tenors go to 8. And they have sung a 4 chord. After they've done that, then go back to 1 again, and this time the basses stay on 2, the baritones stay on 4, the leads stay on 5, and the tenors stop at 7. And when they hear this, they will have sung a 5-7 chord. Then go back to 1 again and sing in an ascending scale pattern. Have the basses sing 1, the baritones stay on 3, the leads stay on 5, and the tenors go all the way to 8. And they have sung a 1 chord again. So now they have sung a major chord progression, a 1, 4, 5, 7, 1 chord. And when your singers hear that and hear how their notes fit in with the other notes to build that chord, I think a lot of them will have a revelation. I've got some more exercises I'd like to share with you. You are probably familiar with this exercise. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, and so on, all the way up to 8. Then you repeat 8 and come back down using the same pattern descending. Most singers, when they sing this song, they want to take a breath after 1, which puts weight in the sound. If you can sing this exercise and not take a breath after 1 and take a breath in other places, then you're treating 1 as part of the journey and not a destination. And also, by not taking a breath after 1, you will sing this exercise with more lift. It's also a great exercise by doing this and not breathing after 1 to develop sneak breathing. This interval exercise is also good for ear training, and on this exercise, you want to focus on singing the descending pattern with lift and not weight. And it sounds like this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 4, 4, 3, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1.
Here is another good interval exercise. Be careful not to sing heavy on 1. This exercise is good for explaining the offbeat in measures 3 through 6, and you can use many variations of clapping in this exercise. You can clap on 1 and 5, or you can clap by riser row. This exercise can be great fun for your singers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, 1, 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
This interval exercise can be a little bit of a challenge. The intervals they are singing in the arpeggios are the notes that create the 1, 4, and 5/7 chords. You want to focus on singing the arpeggios with air and lift and keeping the sound connected while maintaining the tonal center.
1 3 5 8 5 3 1 1 4 6 8 6 4 1 2 4 5 7 5 4 2 1 3 5 8 5 3 1 8 5 3 1 3 5 8 8 6 4 1 4 6 8 7 5 4 2 4 5 7 8 5 3 1 3 5 8.
This chromatic exercise is a fun challenge for our ears and interval work. It is an ascending and descending exercise, and I love that the words support what we are singing in the ascending and descending pattern. This is from the Sing Baby Sing series.
Sing the half steps on the air and let them rise with glee. Keep the airflow constant and descend reluctantly.
This last exercise is useful for many reasons. It's great for interval work and tuning, vowel matching, turning diphthongs together, and sneak breathing.
When I sing, my voice takes wings and flies high.
Let's listen to the 4 parts individually. This exercise is in the key of A, and it starts on a unison note. The top 3 parts then sing an ascending pattern. It is important that they sing this pattern with lift and resonance. We'll start with the lead part, and as I said, they start on A, the key note, and they sing the scale all the way up to the octave A. Here is the lead part.
When I sing, my voice takes wings and flies high.
We will listen to the tenor part next. They sing in unison with the leads, the first 2 measures, and then on the 3rd measure, on the word flies, as the leads are singing the A, the tenors go to the B and create a nice second with the leads, and then they go up to the C sharp, the 3rd, on the last measure on high. Here is the tenor part.
When I sing, my voice takes wings and flies high.
The baritone sings the first 4 notes in unison with the lead and tenor. On the 2nd measure, they hold the E on voice, and on the 3rd measure, on flies, they sing the F natural, and then come back down to the E, the 5th, on high. This is the baritone.
When I sing, my voice flies high.
Even though the bass sings 2 notes in this exercise, both notes are important in the tuning. They begin on the unison A with the top 3 parts on when and sustain that note. In the 2nd measure, they sing that note again on voice. It is important that they sing both notes with lift and support to maintain the integrity of the tonal center. On the 3rd measure, they move up to the D on flies, and then they come back down to A on high. This is the bass part. When voice flies high. Now that we've heard each part individually, let's hear all 4 parts together again and sing right along.
When I sing, my voice takes wings and flies high.
I hope you find these exercises helpful for you on your musical journey. Please feel free to contact me, Kim Wonders. You can email me at wondersk, wonders, the letter K, at AOL.com. Thank you so much.